Yeah, well, let's get into the Loos Trio, because we've got two fast stories I want to get through, and one we're going to sort of very much experience in a bit, but two nice little subplots of the last week. Last night, we saw the All Blacks bring out the haka, Ruben Love leading it.
Yep.
Which is really cool. I mean, obviously, his dad also played for the All Blacks. I did say probably one of the less intimidating players who hadn't led the haka before.
Yeah,
we were the Piri Weepu era.
You had Piri Weepu, you had Tana Uma there.
So, I mean, but again, I think it was cool to see. And then everybody teased about were we going to see a response? What was going to be the response? Somebody said he's going to join in on the haka, and it was like, well, no, because you're kind of laying down the challenge, so you're not going to sit there and. But I did have to laugh because I think some of the Sharks guys said, some of the Sharks media guys say, no, we weren't expecting it. I was like, guys, we all knew. The Sharks players didn't move. It was all pretty preempted. But regardless of the PR and the whole marketing thing, a pretty phenomenal moment.
Yeah, I mean, to see Maananu respond with a challenge as well, putting it down.
Yeah.
And, you wonder how many times the All Blacks, when they don't play another Pacific nation team, Fiji, Tonga,
so I think if you go back to, it was Doug Howard at Ulster. They said all those years ago that they did it, and they kind of said, are we going to see that moment? But there's a photo, and we put it on our social media, and it's from the Sharks point of view, and it's just him, obviously, and then the full line of the All Blacks, and it's like, that's a moment.
Yeah, it's a great moment, and I think. If you could have picked anything from the Sharks' performance, it's probably that moment.
So basically, it's going to be a disaster 80 minutes, but we've got to have it because we've got this 30-second moment that's going to make the tour.
Exactly, and it's a special thing, to see that kind of respect being shown by somebody that has given so much to the game. Still going at 44. I mean,
he's a big
how old are you now, Wes?
Older than I'd like.
So I mean, a guy at 44 still going strong and producing moments like that will encapsulate that sort of game for a very long time.
Yeah, I think my interesting thing part now is we've had this amazing sort of love affair type thing, but now it's done. And they said a short-term contract. I mean, I'm assuming that wasn't like a 2-week contract. So we need to sort of see what happens onwards, because I don't know if you saw, but he was running water for, I don't know if it was for Maritzburg or against Maritzburg over the weekend.
Glenwood.
It was for Glenwood.
Yeah, Glenwood, yeah.
So who were the school that were there? That was the whole sort of tie-in. So I mean, he was running water. I mean, imagine being 17 years old, playing the first team, and Marnot. And ironically, in many ways, they're probably too young.
Yes,
you don't even know what you've got. But I'm so interested to see what he does now, because obviously everyone's talked about the Lorenzo Julius connection there, and going to the schools. But I think hopefully, now that we've had this for the moment, I think this is now where that you can really hopefully bring a lot of value to a Sharks team, which is pretty directionless at the moment.
No, we spoke about that actually when we were talking about, I think before the rivalry tour got started, we were looking at the club sides and saying, who we thought was going to perform, who we thought weren't. And I think universally across the three chairs here, we all said the Sharks would probably be the weakest performance. And we know there's a lot of decisions and a bit of, as you say, lack of direction and political things and this and that. And just, I know we'll get to the rebranding in a bit, but it all just seems a bit of a mess. And hopefully if it can bring some strategic guidance, leadership, or whatever they need, it would be good.
Yeah, well, a very cool, speaking about age, and age being a number, potentially the oldest Springbok that never was the oldest Springbok to make his debut. Runners himself, Deon Fourie, on Friday night, we talked about a desperate to prove himself. And in fact, on Monday, on our FS Breakfast Club, my co-host X said, with all his injuries, he looks like a player who's playing every single game like it's his last. Yeah. And I was like, that's probably the best way to describe that Friday performance, because yes, we were all like, eyes on Evan Roos, what's he going to do? Eyes on Yakin Ahmed, obviously he's young, we're not expecting too much. But all eyes on the youngsters, and then it was a soon-to-be 40-year-old who stole the spotlight with a performance of the ages.
I mean, it takes a lot to bring him down. It's like he's played over the last sort of 8 months now. We are in 2026. He's probably played a total of 3 games. And every time that he's gone onto the park, he's injured himself. But whenever he's gotten back onto the park, it's like he hasn't been injured for about 3 or 4 or 5 months before that. And he's got an incredible sort of engine on him. He he doesn't back down from any challenge. At 40 years old, he's still throwing himself into every contest, winning balls on the ground, creating tries for Siabelo Sinatla. You know,
try assist, couple of breakdown things. Went over 60 minutes.
Bingo.
He went off and they were still drawing. He was like, I don't know what's hard about this, guys.
All in an hour's work. I mean, it's incredible. So to see him back at that level again, it's sort of a reminder for the younger players. And Paul de Villiers will probably look at that and say, man, if I can get to at least half of that, I'm winning in life. And it's a great thing to see a guy like Deon Fourie still going strong at 39, 40 years old.
And then, Wes, just in terms of very quickly, gets called up to the box squad. An interesting response. Some people saying deserved, so cool, amazing. Some people saying he's taking the spot of a younger player. As far as I'm concerned, this is a time when we do give lots of younger players probably more opportunities from this box point of view than we ever have. But at the same time, you're the box. Yeah. That's the pinnacle. And if he is better than the rest, as far as I'm concerned, pick him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I also think it's bigger than necessarily just the performance on the field. Yeah. Like guys will have roles off the field. Again, that leadership, sort of the elderly statesman, the wisdom. We're speaking about, the younger players will listen to, Eben when Eben says something. So I think there's his performance on the field definitely, but then probably what he brings in the change room and in the the times off the field as well is just as important.
His name's Brandis for a reason, so the off the field performance is also very important. And I think as well, it's just in terms of even on the field, somebody was mentioning the fact that hooker's an interesting position where we've got Malcolm Marx up here, and for he's the best player in the world. Certifiably, but for no reason that you've got Jan Grobbelaar, Jan Hunter Wessels, but everybody keeps saying that there isn't really necessarily that identified that's our second choice. So they said, him covering hooker and 6, you've got a Marco Verstappen in a similar position, but I think he adds a lot of value to the squad in itself. So I'm all for it, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing him on the bench on that first test.